I'm here today in the barn with Quest. You've met Quest in the previous two videos. I did a little bit of work just orienting him with the flag and then also using that flag to do some leading exercises. Today I thought I'd bring him in the barn and see what it would look like with a horse I haven't worked with before on ground tying. I think ground tying is really a useful thing to play around with because as in anything that gives your horse choice to make the right or wrong decision, then you guys can build conversations around those choices. And so today, what I would like to do is, currently, Quest is tied so I could talk to you, but I'm gonna untie him and I'm gonna put him here in the center aisle so that you can see what it would look like to do some basic grooming with him and to see what it would look like for him to question what I'm asking from him, which would be stand still, and how I would answer those questions. And Quest and I haven't become quite close enough connected to where he sees me as his comfort and his leader, which is great because it gives you a chance. I know. It gives you a chance to see what that process looks like when you don't have a horse that's super connected already. And it takes a lot of time to do that, and we haven't had that time yet. So you'll see that he's not comfortable in the barn away from his buddies, and he's calling out to them. So that's going to add another level as we work together today to help him to realize that I'm here to help him. And to me, I'm going to be very aware of when I'm being critical to him of something that we haven't discussed or he hasn't learned yet. So at the moment, I'm going to always try to start kind of soft with my requests of him. So right now, one. I'd like him to just take a step back. So I'm going to ask him gently first. Until he takes a step back, it'll get bigger. And then as soon as he does, I'll give him a break. Good boy. So with a horse that's worried about being away from his buddies and who's got a little bit of anxiety going on, especially because he doesn't really know me yet, what's going to help is for me to be super clear with him so that he knows what I'm expecting. I want to make sure that I stay in the eye that I position myself in, so I'm going to discourage him from turning his head completely to put me in his other eye, just like that. That's definitely a dominance. It doesn't always have to be, but in many cases it's the horse making the decision, and I'd like to make that decision at the moment. It's just one more way I can help make him comfortable, because when he sees that I understand his language and that I'm capable of being a good leader, not a forceful leader, but a fair leader, good boy. And that he can trust me to take direction. Good boy. So I'm going to ask him to see if I can ask him to move over a little. I'd like him a little more central. So this is just conversations. I didn't plan this out in advance. Good. And I'm in that other eye, which is fine because I asked him to move. Good boy. Good boy. And I'll give him a little rub. That's it. And then he can begin to start thinking about me and what I'm looking to do instead of just worrying so much about those other horses out there. So I'm going to ask him to back up. This is all about asking where his feet are going to go. Good. That other foot. There we go. Good boy. Good. I'm going to wait a moment, just kind of see if I can have him calm down and think about that. Good, he moved his foot. That's a question. Almost everything your horse is doing with you poses a question. So that question was, what will you do if I move my foot? And my answer was, I'll just ask you to put it back. Good, you can see he's changing eyes, and I'm not being really critical about that at the moment because I'm really focused in on his placement of his feet. Aha. Good. It's important that I'm clear with what I want, and so in order for that to happen, the first thing I have to do is be clear with myself what I want from him, which is to stay in this eye, and to keep him basically his feet in place there. If he can understand that and that that's his job to carry on his own, then I can start working with maybe giving him a little brush or a grooming. I want him to switch eyes with me. I'm just going to block that. Makes it easier. Good. I'll just give him a moment to stand here. You can see he's already focused more on what we're doing and less on what's going on outside, which is exactly what you want when you're trying to work with a horse who's got some worries about being away from the herd. certainly wouldn't want to ride a horse that is that worried about being away from the herd until we've connected. Back foot. So he just asked me about that back foot. I'm going to kind of focus in on that foot while I'm asking him to back. And I'll keep getting louder until he puts it back. There it is. And then immediately give him a release. Good. And this side. Good boy. Good boy. That's it. That's it. Good. Up. And again, I'll ask him to back up. We may not even get to ground tying today. What I really love about working with horses is that we can start with a plan and adjust the plan with the horse that we have. So I thought that what we would do today is working on ground tying, but even just standing in place might be what we get today. Good boy. Just don't switch eyes. Good boy. Often this is the eye of most horses, they don't get worked much from this side, so this eye is less comfortable for them. But that's okay, we're just gonna go ahead and rub him and let him start to feel comfortable with me in this eye. Good boy. So the beginning of ground tying, sometimes you'll want to take that lead rope and stick it in your pocket. Good. Stay in this side. And you can kind of stick it there so that wherever you go around the horse, you can easily grab it. And then just be careful you don't trip on him. And give him a lot of encouragement as he's doing what you're asking. So what I'm going to do first is grab a brush. And what I'd like is for him to feel that that rope is on the ground as much as possible. That's the beginning of ground tying. So right now, my horse is working on ground tying. I'd like him to keep his feet where he is, no matter where I go or what I do, unless I ask him anything different. And so for the moment, I'm just going to start by giving him a brush. Feel good? Good boy. And his entire job is to just stand where I've asked him to. Good boy. Give myself a little extra rope because I still want him to feel like it's on the ground. I could use a slightly longer lead rope in this case. Sometimes that helps in the beginning if you have a longer lead rope. Good. Yeah. And if you notice, he's quite a bit more comfortable than he was, especially when he first came in and was really calling out and worried. And the reason he's already a little more comfortable is because I've just given him a job to do. And that's one of the most important things we can do. I'm now going to switch eyes with him, and I'm going to choose to do that. And that change asked him, he thought maybe he could move. So I'm just going to answer that again with back up. Good. And ask him to come into place. I'm going to call him to step over and straighten out just a little closer to me. Again, just for the conversation's sake. Nice. Really nice. Okay. I'm going to brush him over here. With this horse in particular, the process of working on this ground tying exercise is actually going to be faster than if I tried to brush him on the ground. Tied to the wall. Because as he was tied to the wall, he was much more worried. He didn't have a job to do, and I would be having to move, kind of dodge him as he danced around in his spot. But now that I gave him a job, in this case, I think that this ground tying exercise will make the grooming faster than it would have been otherwise. Can I get right in there? Good boy. Yeah, let's clean you up, make you handsome. Good boy. So now I've got the ability, because I kept that lead rope in my hand, that I was able to ask for that foot to return without having to come over and pick up the line. At some point, I really will work with my horses, as you might have seen in some of the first video series, with the line actually just on the ground, and it's rare that I have to do any adjusting in that case. But I still do. I still answer questions even from the mare that is most used to this. Hi. Yeah, I'm right here. I also love how these exercises start to really connect your horse to you, whether it's leading in from the field or whether it's asking the horse to ground tie while you work with them. You can see he's already really checking in with me. He's much calmer. He's more confident about what he's doing. And I'm going to look at that leg that moved, and I'm going to see if I can ask him from back here even to step it back. Good. Very nice. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Good boy. It's always a little harder to work on the hind end while they're ground tied. This is the motor. So when I'm riding, obviously I'm thinking about, if I focus on the motor, it gives them kind of impulsion to move forward. So I try to keep my energy really low back here so that I'm not inadvertently asking my horse to move around. You should also note when working on ground tying that our energy is really important. So when I'm working on him, one of the efforts that I make is to stay super calm and get your eyes fixed. There you go. To stay super calm and work on him as if I'm not pushing or driving him with my energy. In the years past, when I first started working with horses in this way, I didn't realize it until I had seen it for myself, that my horses were moving around a lot more because of the intensity that I was working with them. And for me, I just wanted to get it done. But for the horse, it felt like I was driving them all over the place, which created a lot more dancing than this does. Good boy. Good boy. I'm really enjoying working with Quest, and I hope that his rider is able to get back and do some great things with him this year. He's such a nice horse. So, thanks again to Quest, who helped us with an example of what the beginning layers of working on ground tying looks like. So I hope you can see the applications that would be great to use in your everyday horsemanship, that while you're even doing simple things like grooming, you can build those conversations and connections that can really make a change in your relationship. So I encourage you to give that a try. In the comments, let me know, do you already ground tie? Is it something that you want to explore? And if you do explore, let me know how it went, and I'll try to scan through and answer any questions that you have and see how it went with you. I'd love to hear about it. So in the meantime, go out and enjoy your horse and have a great day.